Fun. All right, cool. Hey, welcome. Super cool, man. Well, hey, don't mind saying it out loud. We are new to the LinkedIn Live live stream, restream. So really cool. Appreciate everybody for coming. Gonna give everybody about a minute. Dean and I will to get in here. Appreciate it. We're gonna talk about one of our most favorites topics. One of the easiest ways that we know how to raise more money, and that's with the golden ticket. Super cool.
Whoop, whoop. Wait, hold on. Are we live? Because I've never done this either.
We
Hello,
are one.
hello
We are
world.
1,000,000% live, sir. Yeah,
That is awesome.
not necessarily 1,000,000 attendees, but 1,000,000%
I'm
live.
going to pretend that you're on.
Yeah. Keynote to the world right here. This is great, man. Yeah, thanks so much for coming, brother. Appreciate you. You and I we've been riffing about the golden ticket together and working on raising money with folks with a golden ticket for a long time. As I mentioned, yeah, we love the golden ticket. We think it's one of the easiest ways, most effective ways, most interactive, fun ways that you can raise money. And so we've got an expert in the space here, Mr. Dean Crownover, my benefit auctioneer is here.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming, bro. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
How many golden tickets do you think you've sold? Probably a million? Probably about a million golden tickets, I'd say, over time.
Oh, wow. That is a great question.
Yeah, man. That's why I'm sitting where I'm sitting. Yeah.
Thousands upon thousands. Yeah, for sure. A million, probably not. But I've been doing this full time for 14 years. But the golden ticket, AKA the raffle, has, it's always been around, but its popularity has soared coming out of COVID for sure.
Okay.
Before it was, a thing, but now because you can open it up, well, depending on where you're at, but you can open it up to the world, right? So, totally. and virtual coming out of COVID taught us all that. So it's changed the game, and I think it's more popular than it ever has been.
I appreciate that. People are bidding from all over the world now on items like this, and that's really cool with the advent of the most powerful fundraising tool that you have. A lot of times there's a shiny apple on the back, not necessarily for everybody, no offense if you don't have the shiny apple on the back, but proving the point that, yeah, with the advent of all the technology and software that we have at our fingertips, one of the reasons why we absolutely adore the golden ticket. We're just going to get right into it if you don't mind. We love it because, it's super fun. It's super exciting. You're doing a lot of, in-person events. We obviously focus on a lot of in-person events. This is honestly another great way, though, actually, where you can sell golden tickets pre-event online and start raising dollars before your event even takes place. And then I hope it's not unpopular, but like I said, you're involved in live events. We're involved in live events, but this is a great tool that you could use just strictly online as well. It's just an easy sell.
Endless.
Yeah. Cool.
And so we'll talk about a couple extra ways a little later.
Yeah.
But it's there's several reasons, and I know you want to get into some of these. Demographics are changing for who's attending.
Sure.
It allows everybody with a smaller wallet to play and to win big. It's exciting. It serves so many ways to use it and it's so simple, like you said. It
sounds like a no-brainer. Sounds like you're kind of missing the boat if you don't have it. Yes. Let's get into it, man. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Obviously, this is our first LinkedIn Live, so super fun. My name is Trevor Nelson. We're the HGA Fundraising. We provide the most profitable auction items in fundraising. As mentioned, we've got our dear friend. We've been friends with Dean. He's been a friend of HGA and a friend of mine and my partner, Jason, and everybody at the HGA team for a number of years and has done, like you said, excellent work for the last 14 years, raising money all across the country. Dean, as I mentioned, is a friend. We're very grateful to have him here, and he's an expert in the golden ticket. Now, a lot of folks, before we get a little house cleaning, you got any questions? This is an interactive live event, so please, chat feature. We've got a team member, Courtney from HGA. She's going to be putting up some links and stuff like that y'all can see on how you can get a hold of Dean, how you can get a hold of us, ask us questions. Nothing is off limits. Ask about anything, golden ticket or otherwise. We're pretty passionate and we're students of this fundraising game and we adore it. And so, appreciate it. Hey, cool. Thanks, Dave. Or thanks, Jace. I appreciate that. But yeah, let's get right into it. Let's just talk about and just unpack for folks that don't know what the golden ticket is. I mean, we're just going to treat it, like you've never used it before, and we have our process on how we go about it. But Dean, I want to hear from you first. Tell us what the golden ticket is for the audience, and then we'll just kind of like layer in some key points on top of that.
Yeah, in its simple form, it's a raffle.
Yeah.
It is a raffle. And there's different ways to play it depending on your laws in your area, which you absolutely should know. So I want to preface that, that is key and important. I'm in Atlanta. I'm based in Atlanta. Like you said, I'm national. And I probably do 60 events a year. I only do benefit auctions. I only work with nonprofit. So about 75% of them are in the Atlanta area, and then the rest are national. So in its simplest form, it is a raffle, and it is a raffle that can bring in tens of thousands.
Yeah. We've seen it bring it up to, we have a couple just turnkey solutions where we say, and I want to get into the nitty gritty, of course, because with this is such a flexible fundraising tool. It's fluid, it's flexible, it's fast. I stole that from our friend Dan DeLawyer from Ducks Unlimited. Nice. But it really is. And what I mean by that is, and you're going to hear Dean and I, and we don't disagree. There's just no perfect answer. It depends on your event. Every event has its own uniqueness and atmosphere. And Dean already mentioned demographic and things of that nature. But we have a very turnkey solution where we say, sell 100 tickets for $100 a piece, raise $10,000. We have another solution where it's like, hey, maybe you're, very experienced in this drawing or raffle, or I like to call it like a game of chance, because it really gamifies things and folks love that. Like, oh, I can buy an opportunity to win. It's kind of like I'm spinning the wheel, so to speak, right? And I want what they're giving away at the event, but we have another for seasoned folks that do drawings or that have the kind of capacity in their room to sell these kinds of tickets. We have another turnkey solution where it's sell 100 tickets for $250 a piece. And raise $25K. Now, while we're talking about that, I want to get into your strategy and science behind how many tickets you offer. But while we're just unpacking and telling folks what the golden ticket strategy is, give folks some examples that don't maybe even involve our destinations and our turnkey products that I mentioned. Give folks some examples, Dean, because I've got a couple as well of what they could use as their golden ticket, frankly.
Yeah. So what jumps out at mind, it's got to be something that's a little larger than life. Okay. That's what cool. really works.
Yeah.
And I would hands down say travel, whether I'm dealing with HGA, who I love, but just because you're a travel company, that regardless, that's the first thing I would tell them. Coming out of COVID, and I'm going to use that a lot. Yeah. People really reassessed what is their bucket list destinations, because, and I was doing an event last night and I was talking to the audience and I said, what's your bucket list? Because you could be kicking the bucket any day. So we want to make sure that you're going to where you want, right? So now travel is number one. Okay. But let's see, what else have we used in it? Beach houses.
Okay.
Now we're in Atlanta, so beach houses are, semi easy to get to, within 5 hours. So beach houses are very popular because you can drive them. It's a bit larger than life. Events.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. We had Taylor Swift come through here last year.
Yeah.
And I think that was, I'm trying to remember if one of my clients used that or not. They came in last minute. So because we never got them in advance, or my clients didn't. But I think you're what you were talking about earlier. You're going to, because I love this. Go ahead and tell us.
I don't mind sharing, because I got schooled on this. So one of the most brilliant minds in fundraising just happens to be my business partner, Jason Ledlow. And he's the one that taught me about the golden ticket strategy. You were using it before we even met, but he taught me about the golden ticket. And so we do a weekly webinar series, and we had a really lovely guest on that started her own foundation. And she was just peppering us with some questions. I don't even know if we were talking about the golden ticket. We were just talking about auction items in general, which is, kind of what we do. And she asked us, she said, hey, I've got these great George Strait tickets that were donated to our organization. How should I use them? And I just didn't even think, just like a young fool or something. I was just put them in a live auction. And Jason said, well, hey, hold on, let's think about this. And so we had a discussion with her on air, and Jason asked a couple key questions, like, what's the most anything's ever sold for in your live auction? A question that you would ask when you're consulting, Dean, right? And she said $4,000. And we said, oh, and Jason said, okay, we want you to use this as a golden ticket, or I'm advising you and we'll coach you up on how to use this great donation. Cause of course, a lot of people want to go to the Taylor Swift concert or a George Strait concert. She happened to be in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So it made a ton of sense. Right. And so anyway, she has these George Strait tickets. We turned it into a golden ticket. She sold $200 tickets. She did a little bit of groundwork, which I think is really, really smart, because you were talking about experience. She got a donated, dinner for 2. She got a donated hotel stay for 2, for one night near the auditorium where the concert was taking place. So really, really cool, really fun experience. Things that you don't just typically find as falling out of bed. And she sold a tremendous amount of tickets for $200 a piece and raised over $20,000 net dollars.
Amazing.
With the golden ticket. So I think, like you said, just compounding on that, beach house, destinations, I got a visual aid here. We use this really cool golden ticket where it gives folks 4 different choices. When we pull the golden ticket for destinations, I got a little visual aid there. And so
that's high tech, very high tech.
Yeah, and then let's talk about the other option too, which is one destination, how you utilize that too. But anyway, you get the point. So we're not staunchly opposed to using unlimited ticket sales. There's no right or wrong answer. It really is what's going to be best for your organization, right? So let's just say we've got the destination. You use one of our travel experiences. You've got the donated concert tickets, the donated beach house, something, dinner with an astronaut. Cool. Now we've got it. Dean, talk about your strategy with how many tickets you sell, obviously price point, and then let's just kind of get into the nitty gritty on how we use it.
Yeah. So let's talk the mechanics so people know what that is. And guys, chime in if you've got exact question on these. And then I want to go back to how to really pick that item.
Oh, right? We're definitely going to get back into that.
I want to go back to that because there is a strategy there. Okay. So back in the day, when you would cap it, not you, but anybody doing this raffle would cap it at 100 tickets. I understood why.
Yeah.
Because in the room, that's who you were selling to. You were not selling to anybody outside that room.
Sure.
Those who came to the event. So it became fear-based marketing.
Okay.
If you don't get in on this 100, you're going to lose out, right?
Supply, demand, scarcity. Yeah.
And I had a client who, and this is, again, before we even knew each other, she subscribed to that. And I tell you what, we would sell 100 within 45 minutes of the pre-function. Awesome. And I'm like, open up more.
Yeah.
Because now we can go to 20 grand.
Yeah.
And there was a demand. People were asking for more.
Cap it. Yeah.
Right. And she refused. Okay. I get it. So COVID hits, we're doing virtual. Now the game changes, and finally I'm using her as an example to open up. But here's what changed is that everything went online. I instruct or advise all my clients. Number one, you're talking to 2 different audiences. You're talking to the audience that will be at the event. 99.9% of them will buy at the event. So we have a whole marketing system, which we can talk about later on how we sell there. Okay. But the other group is the group that cannot come to your event. This is where you can make up a ton of money. You can walk in with
they care, they have access, they're getting text messages.
They just can't be there.
Yeah.
So open it up 3 to 4 weeks in advance. And I like opening it on a Saturday by noon.
Okay.
Not on a Monday, not on a Friday, because they're at work primarily. Saturday, they wake up, they're having the coffee, they're chilling out, they see your email, and they're like, I will buy this now. And so, and make sure it says big, bold, need not be present to win, right? And you're now marketing to 2 different groups. I had a group that did, how much did we make off this? 39 grand last year. Off one, and we'll talk about, but one place. And so it opened it up wide. So I don't like limiting because you can't get to those kind of numbers when you limit.
Yep. And once again, either one is a win.
Right.
You're doing it for the first time. You're like, hey, we just want to test this out. So be it. Okay, that's fine. Dean's not going to lambaste you, and neither are we, or chastise you for doing it that way. And I've seen Dean, once again, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. I just think that you should consider your audience. I love everything that you said. I love how you got scientific about opening it up on Saturday. I think that's huge.
Yes.
Another thing with the advent of software, mobile bidding software, and just communication with your donors in general, what's so cool about what we've seen with the golden ticket, I'll talk to you about some pre-event fundraising. You know, you're raising money before the event even kicks off. I mean, this is almost, and I'll say this as well, it's an underwriting opportunity. So you can actually get folks like for our turnkey, you know, sell 100 tickets for $100 golden ticket, we sell it for $24.95, so $2,500. So you sell 100 tickets. Let's just say you sell 100 tickets. Maybe you sell 200, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's just say you sell 100, you raise 10,000, you net $7,500, right? Well, if you get that opportunity, and that's what we call the golden ticket opportunity, underwritten by a sponsor, a supporter, maybe someone who can't be in attendance because they can't fill up a table of 8 or 10, and you send them an option with your software to their phone to underwrite certain opportunities. That's a whole nother discussion of how many things can be underwritten, of course, as you well know, Dean. You know, but you can underwrite the golden ticket opportunity. So now you're going to sponsor or corporation or foundation XYZ and saying, hey, you can underwrite this golden ticket opportunity, and we're going to be able to net $10,000.
Yeah, it's the organization gets 100%. I love that idea. I think it's brilliant. I'm a big niche sponsorship. Every line item in that room, including me, the auctioneer, and whatever else you're paying,
can be underwritten.
You get it underwritten and walk into your event already in the black, which is what you want, right? Same thing with the golden ticket.
We know what our next LinkedIn Live is going to be about. It's probably going to be about underwriting. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah.
You know, the thing is that you really want to you're talking to marketing. You have marketed. So let's assume you're using your software like your Qtego or Better Unite or GiveSmart or whoever. And what you're doing is you're creating the display for that. And by the way, I think that should be item 100. It's the first thing they see. Now, I know in One Cause, for instance, they now have just a designation that says you can write golden ticket or raffle. So it doesn't have an item number, but a lot of them do. It's the first thing that they see on the website when they open it up, or on their phone when they're at the event, or
right next to just the straight donation, right? That's right. Yeah, it should just be right there. Yep.
So easy to find, right? Because you got to make it easy. And no barriers, no blocks.
Yeah, high traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've already opened up for your tickets probably to your event. That opened up probably 2-3 months out. Now, a month out, this is your next touch point. You're opening this. Hey, everybody, go do this.
Yep.
Especially if you're not coming to this. Open up that social media, get that going, get it around everywhere, and don't let off the gas until we get to that event. And then even that night, we're going to pull it that night. A lot of people say, hey, we should wait and pull it a couple of days later. No, you want to pull it that night in the room, because those guys that's the energy.
Sure.
And they are expecting it and waiting for it. And by the way, I like to open it. I do the fund and need first, usually the paddle raise first, and then I open it, pull it between the fund and need and the live auction. And that is by design, because then they'll know if they won a big trip, then if they have money to spend for the live.
Yeah. We're big believers in the live too. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And once again, no right or wrong answer. If you're hitting it out of the park, doing it your way, once again, there's a different atmosphere with every event, but we strongly recommend, and we'll tell you a little bit more why. I want to back up just a little bit. I want you to, so let's just say you're working with your committee, Dean, you're consulting with the organization that you're going to do the event with, and you're trying to find that right destination, and you're like, hey, reach out to the guys at HGA, great, whatever. And they go, okay, what are we going to use? And you're like, well, and then so you have a really, really cool strategy for coaching nonprofits on how to choose the right destination, or the right item, so to speak, is what we would call it, for the golden ticket. Explain to folks how you'd go about doing that.
Yeah, I've been in, because I do consult from the minute they book me. So I'm usually working with a client a full year. So I have been in the meetings where they're just agonizing on what is it that's going to work. So here's what I always advise. Do a Survey Monkey, make it one question. And you're going to send this to your board, your top givers and donors.
And you would know that based on,
you've got the data from from the software. You've got probably data from any events you've had. Send it to 100, right? If you can. 50 is good too. But the one question is, in the next 2 years, what is your top bucket list travel destination? Right? 2 years is because most consignments have a 2-year expiration, right?
I can't speak to all of them, but it seems pretty common.
Yeah.
Ours is
I think that's fair, right? Because
Yeah.
you figure that you're going to use it in 2 years. So then here's what I want them to put. The number one across the board in my area and for the events that I'm doing is Tuscany. It's still Tuscany, even out of COVID. Tuscany, there you go, Tuscany. I mean, it is number one. So I say use Tuscany because that's a demographic. This is your controls. Tuscany, that is an older audience, typically, right?
Okay.
Caribbean, that's a control that I like, a control destination, because that is speaking to the younger crowd, because that's the party place, right? So you got the more refined food and wine, and you got the party. Let's have those as our controls. Then I want them to put what's hip, and I advise them usually what's hip and happening, and these are variables. I always like, right now I'm putting Greece.
Okay.
Put Greece because I'm selling a lot more Greece. Portugal.
Yep.
Right. Then I say, and if they want to add another one, if they want to add something that maybe they've been hearing buzz about, or maybe even something far away like Thailand or Iceland, something like that, then put another space. So you've got 5 answers, basically 5, 6 answers, and then you've got the other space. Send it out and say in the body of the email, this is a 5-second Survey Monkey, 5 seconds.
Right.
And this will help us design items for you at this event. So you can, and you can also say, if you want to find out more about the event, put the link in the body of the email too. And so I had a client get back 180 of these, which is amazing.
Great
I
response.
mean, yeah, because we made it simple and we want more. And you know what? That was funny, by the way, that 180, 3 destinations came in at 22 point something% each.
Okay.
And so what we did is instead of picking one destination, they put together a package of 3 destinations that were the top 3.
Yeah.
So there, and I want you to talk about, there are pros and cons to picking the one destination or 2 or 3, and up to 4, because I do like choice.
I think donors, I think a couple things, unpacking everything that you just said with that experience, and I hope folks listen to that when it comes to surveying your donors, your top donors, folks that have bid. Hey, folks that have bid, and all the data is in the software, as you mentioned, right? I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but anyway, folks that have bid,
go down that rabbit hole.
But I mean, like, what if someone's bid over $3,000 multiple times at your event, but they didn't win anything? Their opinion still matters because they were a $3,000 level potential donor at your event. So you get lost in that data. Don't want to go too deep there, right? That's a whole another ball of wax, and a great one, to unpack. But you said something too, and I was going to go like, real wide lens, the survey, asking your top donors, all these things. You know what? Don't overlook the flattery of asking folks for input. I mean, we're talking about a very specific fundraising tool, but like I said, going really, really wide lens. You know what donors like when they've invested in your organization? To give their feedback. They've earned it. They're investors. They've basically paid for the right to give you that feedback. So this is just another like really cool layer.
I've never even thought of that, actually.
That's
the truth, brilliant. Man, You're absolutely right.
And I think, well, that's the world that we live in too, right? Like, think about this, and once again, I preface it by saying I'm going down the rabbit hole, but I think this will bring value to folks. We talk all the time about being a nonprofit and it being a tax designation. I know your mission is amazing, right? Most of the missions, right, are just, I mean, super deep, and we're raising money for children's cancer, or we're raising money to combat trafficking and all. I mean, it's massive, but you still have to run your organization like a quote unquote, like a for-profit company would, because you're
absolutely, you have to have that mindset.
Yes,
your business for a day.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. You still have to make payroll. You still have to advance your mission, all these wonderful things that you want to do. And I think this is the backbone of our society, right? But there's all sorts of lovely examples out there in the quote unquote for-profit world. I'm not really trying to delineate, and put different labels on it, but it's just the reality and how we have to change our thought process. Well, I buy a pair of sneakers. They ask me for my feedback. Why? Because I voted with my dollars. You know what I mean? And I earned it, whether I choose to provide it. Now, that's a pair of sneakers. If someone gave to your organization and you're combating food insecurity, I think that their feedback is obviously warranted, and then I think they'd be even more willing to provide it than they would when they buy the sneakers, right? So Dean brought up a really, really great point. Like you said, this is going to change people's perspective when you told me about it before we got on air. And I think it's, yeah, absolutely. Ask people, especially folks that have given or have at least wanted to give, what they want to see. Once again, not going too far off the beaten path, but folks say, oh, my silent auction is dead. My live auction is this and that. Well, are you giving folks what they want?
And it's changed. That landscape is
totally changed.
Actively changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we can't keep doing things the way we've always done them and expect the same return, profitability, success, all the above. Right. So I love the idea that you mentioned about surveying and getting that kind of feedback. Now, some folks are going to say some crazy stuff like, I want to, go to the South Pole. Maybe that might not be the greatest golden ticket. However, you're going to get some great feedback, as Dean mentioned.
And you'll get the front runners will jump out, right? Because like on SurveyMonkey, you'll get percentages and it'll jump out. Yeah. I want to say something too about that.
Hit it.
You are a store for a day. The night, the tennis shoe example. That's a store that's probably open all year long. You are only open on your gala 3 to 4 hours, and you have to sell out your inventory.
Agreed.
So don't agonize. Find out from the buyers what they want to buy.
Yeah.
And put it there for them. And again, I know what you're saying. Like, I have had a couple of cases where one board member said they might want to buy this trip to Iceland and nobody else wants this Iceland trip. I'm not saying do that one little minute thing, because that board member usually never bids on it. So I'm talking about majority rules here, and give them a choice. Because if I already went to France for the Olympics or what have you, here I got 2-3 other choices.
That's why I love options.
We already surveyed, right? Do you guys at HGA, I know you have set destinations. Do you create packages? Like, if they came to you and said, hey, here are 3 surveys. These are the places. Can we make a package?
I think I wish people would ask us to do that more.
Okay.
I wish people would ask us to customize things. I constantly do that. And we have our own marketing team in-house. Courtney's with our team as well, designing custom design pieces all the time. I think, once again, you can allow a board member to get you off the path, so to speak. That's a very rare, right? It's an outlier situation. I do think that the destinations need to be, yes, they can certainly be customizable. I think donors are consumers at the end of the day. I think consumers and travelers love options.
Yes.
I think that having 3 or 4 great destinations, I think you are going to be, like you said, you got one night to do this. We want to be equal opportunity receivers. And there are going to be, we haven't talked about this, but we talked about price point. We did mention price point of $100, $250. We've seen it even more sometimes, $200. You can pick the dollar amount, but you're going to have folks that like would never be able to afford, quote unquote, going to Iceland.
Right.
But they can afford to give $100 to enter into this game of chance, this golden ticket opportunity.
Well, let me tell you about my tiered pricing that I like.
Okay, let's talk about. Oh yeah, sure. Which increases your odds of winning, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm promoting right now. We've been doing this for about a year. 1 chance for 100, 3 chances for 250, and 7 chances for 500. You think, woo, 500? I got to tell you, that's a growing one. Yeah, we get plenty that buy that, especially the night of. The 250, the 100 will be the most popular, but the 250 is pretty up there. And
I think it's underutilized.
Yeah. And I like these 3 price points. And they're going to change as time changes, but we've had no negative. Yeah. It allows, it gives you a benefit. You get an extra ticket depending on which one if you do the 3 or the 7. Right. And the changing landscape is, quite honestly, millennials. Millennials, older millennials are coming in. What?
That's me, man. I'm the oldest millennial.
That's you? Yeah. So you guys are changing the landscape now. The wallet sizes aren't there as an older, like a boomer or an older Gen X or, one of those. But I'm doing a lot of research on Gen X or what are they? Gen Y? Gen Y? Z? Yeah, no, I guess my kid's Gen Z. So Gen Y. So millennials that here's what I'm finding. Number one, They don't like bidding in the live auction. That's not their thing. They love giving in the fund of need. 60-something% of them will go read your materials about your organization online. They want to know everything that they're giving to, right? So that's key. They don't like bidding, but they love games, gamification. So I have a client, in 3 years, we've seen the audience go from much, much older. This is just 3 years to about 50% of this new generation. 50%. The live auction 2 years ago was too long. They got up, they zoned out. But we made records in the fund of need because we did that first and they loved it. We didn't have a raffle. This year we added a raffle. One of them won, that age group. Went nuts dancing around the room. Oh my gosh, it was such a people pleaser.
Yeah.
But
it's fun, man. It's fun. That's why we say it's like one of our favorite ways to raise money. It's baffling to me that people don't do it. It just,
well, I think that, look at your laws.
I'm not getting you off. I'm not getting you off the scent here. What'd you say about the laws?
Yeah, I think that
ways around that, man. You can sell bracelets.
Exactly. Talk about that, because
my daughter made this for me when she was 4, and she made this one that says Dad. She made it for me when she was 6, so I collect them, right? But yeah, I mean, so there are ways around it. I mean, geez, a dear friend of ours, her, Amy Myers. She's from Pennsylvania. They did golden tickets in like Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they sold Hershey's bars. So every time you bought a golden ticket, you got a bar. So you got something of value. I think that's where we're not lawyers. I'm not an attorney. I'm a fundraiser. And
you're buying the Mardi Gras necklace.
Correct.
And you are put into a free drawing.
Yes. And
it's essentially what's happening.
Yes. Where it's equal opportunity, right? To win, right? For everyone that got involved, and you get something tangible, is the way it's been explained to me. Now, it's only been explained to me by being a student of this and listening to how organizations have hit it out of the park. Now, let me tell you one caveat, and a really important one, and a really cool one. When you give away, let's just say you sell your golden tickets in person and you give someone a blingy necklace that like lights up, or the bracelet, or the this or the that at your event, is what you have is you have 100 people in your room that has maybe 300 walking around with blingy necklaces on. And the people that don't have one have FOMO. And so they want to get involved.
FOMO. That's right.
Yeah. And so I've heard this, to great success with a lot of organizations. If you want to, we're not going to have enough time to get into every little nuance. I wish we did. But Courtney, will you put up, a way to reach Dean via email and me? And then also we have a free coaching link. If you want to spend a half hour talking about the golden ticket, we're going to link to Dean's website where you can sign up and talk to him for a half hour. I'm going to give your time away for free, Dean. Sorry.
Please do. I'd love that
as well. So if you want to continue having this conversation, because we've already blown through over a half hour about it.
And Courtney will put up, I have a book that I wrote last year called Paddles Up.
And you put the golden ticket in it. Yeah.
And I have a whole chapter on golden ticket. Yeah. I'm going to give it the free PDF to whoever wants it.
Cool.
She'll put up the link, and
nice.
Yeah, there we go. And then please go to there. It's a free book. It's no fluff, all
it's really good,
great info. But speaking, definitely about the golden ticket.
I remember you have an entire chapter about the golden ticket. That's so fun. That's right. And so, yeah, not to get off the beaten path too much, but you said gamification. I think that regardless of the demo, people love it. They can quantify the chances, right? And immediately, and it's not gambling, but you get my point, right? People like it. People like games. It's fun. And this one just happens to be a really profitable one.
Yes.
For your event. Because I want to be respectful of people's time, Dean. I want you to talk about, okay, so we're night of, because you have a really cool approach. We've identified a few ways you can raise money. Let me just go ahead and recap. You can sell the tickets pre-event, right? Great. You can raise money before your doors are even open. Greater. Okay. Now you're selling items, or excuse me, selling tickets at the event. And then, the visual aid or what have you, where folks can see it and make it really easy for folks to buy those tickets. We're saying with a bidder number is what we tell folks. No card swipers. They walk in, they get past check-in, check-out. Have you bought your golden ticket? Oh, what's that? Well, you get this choice of 3 to 4 different destinations. It's $100, or it's 3, chances to win for $250, or 7 for $500, whatever it might be, right? Or 10 for $500. Great. Here you go. Oh, yes, I'm in. Cool. What's your bidder number? That's what we're telling folks to do. I know I just kind of rambled that through.
No, let me give you my real specific.
Yeah, make it easy.
Here's what so part of what I do is I always tell them I'm going to train your sellers, but I tell them what kind of sellers I want and based on how big their audience is. So let's just say your audience, I've determined we need 6 sellers, right? 2 pairs walking in groups and 2 people working the table. Meaning that near the live auction display in a heavy traffic area, let's have a high boy with a big poster that says golden ticket and a bunch of those necklaces laying out and 2 people there roping it in. And there we go. There's that display. And then you've got your sellers are wearing gold top hats or tiaras. They are highly identifiable over a sea of 400 heads, right?
Good call.
They are salespeople, not wallflowers. Do not get kids. Do not get people who are scared of their shadows. Best people to sell are realtors. Anybody owns a business, right? So get them enlisted. Then I tell them, go up to them and you're promoting because now everything's digital. All the drawings, for the most part, are going through the software. And I'm a big fan of. You're promoting now. You're not really selling. Go up. Have your sellers go up. And, hey, have you played the golden ticket yet? What are you talking about? Oh, we are giving away one of 4 places. So give that seller a cheat sheet that has all that basic info on it. The item number, which should be 100. And then they open that up right away. You have the guest physically open it up on their phone. Then you're telling them about it, and then here are your 3 price points or your 1 price point or whatever it's going to be. Watch them press it, and when they do, give them a golden necklace. Yeah, you said that it's absolutely for marketing. It's FOMO, but you know the other reason you want to do that?
Tell us.
That way, the sellers know they've already bought, and they don't have to go. Bug them again.
Retracing your steps. Yeah.
And it just works for everybody.
It's about speed the night of. It's about speed and efficiency and making it easy for folks to say yes. So all of these things from an efficiency standpoint.
Then the night or the time that it's time to pull it, I tell you what I've switched to, wheelofnames.com. Wheelofnames.com is a free spinny wheel, and you cut and paste. So you stop sales somewhere in the dinner portion, right? And then you cut and paste everybody who bought and how many they bought into the wheel. And it takes you about a half an hour to create the colorize the wheel and all that. Do it before. Now, when it's time, it pops up on the screen. And I get the whole audience to do a drum roll. And I say, spin that wheel. And then that name pops up and the place goes berserk. It's most of the software can do a randomized pull. Somebody hands me an envelope. It's fun. Not as fun as the wheel of names.
Okay, cool. I love that. Once again, gamifies it. Even more so, right?
Let's add that game show. And that's, I mean, look at me. I'm all game show. This is what we want. The audience wants it. Young, old, doesn't matter. This gala should be fun and memorable because we want them to come back to your gala because they had such a good time.
Brother. Yeah.
It's true. This is all by design, guys.
You're preaching the choir, man. It's 1,000,000%. You're setting yourself, you're actually interviewing for the next event at the same time. Love it for the audience, for the donors. We've identified that you can sell tickets. You can sell a ton of tickets. You can underwrite the golden ticket. You can have the golden ticket opportunity underwritten by, a sponsor, a supporter. So now it's the golden ticket presented by. So if there's a cost for these destinations, your cost is covered. So all your money is net. We've talked about raising money before your event. As folks walk in during the event, there's one really cool piece that we've been adopters of and that you have done dozens and dozens of times with the golden ticket, if not more, pardon me, with announcing. You strategically announce the winner before the live auction. Dean is a fund and need and live auction expert as well, right? So you, and okay, I'm going to, it takes me a second to get to questions sometimes. I'm going to preface this by saying, there are folks in your audience, as we mentioned, that can only afford the $100 or the $250, or that's it. And that's all they're going to give. And they might give another couple $100 in the fund of need, or might bid on a silent auction. It doesn't matter. They don't have the capacity, quote unquote, to buy a $5,000 live auction item, 4,000, whatever the number might be. There are folks that absolutely are going to get involved in the golden ticket and buy tickets that do have the capacity to buy $5,000 live auction items. When you announce and you do the wheel of names and you announce the winner for the golden ticket, you and I'm, if I'm using the right terminology, create an impromptu live auction opportunity with the golden ticket if you have the ability to sell more than one, like one of our items, for instance, not the George Strait ticket. So explain to folks how you turn this another opportunity to raise money with a golden ticket into an impromptu live auction item, if you like.
Yeah. So when I was first doing this and I realized, the people who lose, and it's 99.9% if they're in the room, right? Because a lot of time, and not all the time, but a decent amount of time, the winner need not be present to win. They're not even there, right? So this group who have bought into these golden tickets have been emotionally attached to this trip. They've been talking as a couple. Where do you want to go if we win? And now they've lost. Well, what I like to do is one of two things. Turn around in the middle of the live as a surprise, and I say to the audience, how many people lost? And everybody raised their hand. And then I go, well, great news. I just got a call from, wherever the destination, from Italy. And Italy says, I can sell one more of these packages.
Yep.
Now, I can auction that off. And like you said, if it's consignment, we can sell many.
Yeah.
I auction that off, and then I allow the whole group to use it. But to buy it, right? So anybody can buy it once I've established the price.
Yep.
But lately, I'm skipping the auction part, and I'm doing it as a buy it now. So in the middle of the live auction, I'll say, how many people lost? Guess what? I've got several versions of this. You can choose of one of four places. I quickly run down again what it is. A slide pops up.
Yep, absolutely.
And I say, I'm not auctioning this off. I want everybody to have their chance.
Okay.
And I sell it at a buy it now price.
Explain to folks what a buy it now price is, and let's get in the nitty gritty for the last couple of minutes about, so let's say the item costs $3,000 to the organization. What are you going to set up what are you comfortable with your buy it now, and how do you arrive at that dollar amount for the live
Usually I add about $1,500 on top. I don't double it.
Okay.
There's the theory to double it. Here's who I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the lower wallets and the bigger wallets. I'm trying to get to everyone in that room at a very fair price. It's about volume here.
Cool.
And it's about an extra $1,000 to $1,500 per item, right?
Totally.
So what I say is, and this is, by the way, if I can get away with, in your case, let's say it's 3,000. If I can get away with $49.95, so it's a little bit more. Okay. I'll start it with that. I'll go buy it now. And then if people raise, great. I don't have to change it. But if they don't, and I can do this with, say, $44.95 in that case too.
Sure.
If I don't get a raise, I'll go, stop. That price is too darn high. And then I will come down 500. Now I'm still, if it's cost $3 and I was asking $49.95, now I'm at $44.95. So I'm at about that $1,500 profit.
Net, yeah.
Then the numbers go up. I say, just hold up your number. I'm going to call it off, and you bought one. It's yours.
Cool.
And I do that. So I've done that several times now. You could sell 0 of these. You could sell 20 of them. I mean, you don't know where the audiences go. I average about 3 or 4.
Okay.
And so again, it allowed that audience to win and to participate. It isn't about trying to max out the money. You made all the money on the golden ticket. Yeah. This is now inclusion, which is uber important.
Okay.
With the wallet sizes in that room.
And then also you've identified, at $45.95, if people putting their paddles up, maybe there are folks maybe there are folks you don't know. You just identified not only folks that have got involved in the golden ticket opportunity at $100 or $250 or $500. Now you've identified $4,500 level donors at your event, which I don't know how long that takes you to identify over the phone or before your event or when you're in your office, prospecting and what have you. But that's a massive opportunity right there with an item. I'm going to recap the math, and then I want to close up shop. So you got the golden ticket. You sell, let's just say you end up, you end up selling 100 tickets for $200 a piece. That's 20 grand. You announce that you can sell it a few times and it costs $3, and you can sell it 3 times for $4,500. And so you net another $4,500, give or take. So now we're talking about 20,000 in ticket sales, $4,500 as an impromptu buy it now live auction. So now we're at 24.5. If you get the item underwritten even once, that's $3 grand, $27,500 with one item, with one strategy, and you can do it in a matter of minutes, right? You can do it with the advent of mobile bidding software on your phone, the most powerful fundraising tool that you have. There it is. Usually has like a little shiny apple on the back, I like to say these days.
That's right.
And yeah, it's just, once again, I'm coming full circle, brother. It's such a fun way to get everyone involved. You can raise money before the event. You can get it underwritten. You can raise money during the event. You got the shiny necklaces. You got all this stuff, the impromptu live auction item, the winner's wheel. You're gamifying. It's fun. You're getting folks coming back. You're on the microphone. Folks are jumping for joy when they win. People are like, oh my gosh, I didn't win. I've got to get involved again and win so I can win next year. You know, that kind of, it's just like, there's so much good. I don't see very much downside. So I want to.
No, but you know, it's what you put into it. You got to market. You got to market.
Fundraising's hard, man. Yeah, fundraising's hard. So you got to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's not. It is no get rich quick scheme at all. This is work, but it's the easiest of all things, because unlike a silent auction where it's 50%, you know, it's diminishing returns because you're making about 50% of what it's worth. This is an easy, I mean, buy it from a company like yours and put it in there. And I tell you, and I know we got to go, but I'm going to throw one more idea out there.
Do it.
Sometimes you can take this kind of item and put it as a paddle pull at the very end. Yeah. And you tell everybody, hey, now let's say you didn't use it as a golden ticket, or maybe this is something different. Cool. But let's use your George Strait tickets, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That you tell everybody, hey, if you will turn in your paddle right now, assuming the live auction's done, right?
Yeah, at the end of the night, I was going to say, absolutely. Yeah.
Turn in your paddle at $100 a pop or $150, probably max $200. But let's use your $200 for this. Everybody who turns it in right now, we're going to have all our volunteers collect it, bring it up on stage, put it in this big bag, and we're going to pull a winner right now that gets these, you know, this George Strait experience worth $3,000. Do your math. You figure most people are couples. Half of those. So do the math of, if you've got 300,
you get 50 paddles at $200 a piece.
Boom. And I'm telling you, it works, and it's impromptu. I mean, yes, we planned it.
It's fun. It's fun,
but it's impromptu, and everybody goes, "What?" Yeah. And I swear it's making a ton, and we pull it right then and there. We just have a guest, a VIP, or the MC will pull it.
Come on,
people go nuts. It's insta money.
I love it.
So anyway, I want to throw that in just to confuse.
No, it's great. It's great. I think it's just another. We all, you know. I know you have a theory and a strategy. There needs to be, you know, minimum this many ways that you can raise money at your event, right?
Like 4 or 5, yeah.
You could be. Hey, listen, if you do 10 and it works for you, fantastic. I know organizations that do, but this is a nudge to folks that are just on the fence, like, what do we add, or Bob, you know, this and that. And once again, we want to be equal opportunity receivers, and you have a unique opportunity with everyone in that room the night of, and you need to absolutely take advantage of it. Yeah, it
checks off a lot of boxes.
The revenue generator. Yeah,
it's one of the easier ones to do.
It's a little profit center for you. Hey, man, that flew by. We almost covered the golden ticket for an hour. I bet we could spend 2 hours. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for coming, brother. That was really, really fun. Hey, I want to tell everybody, if you're watching this as a recording, and the whole reason why this conversation, I forgot to say this part. You sent the newsletter out because I look at your newsletter. Oh, and you were talking about how you need to have a golden ticket. And I said, hey, man, let's talk about the golden ticket. Remember that? That was like,
you rang me up. Thank you for reading the newsletter.
Yeah. And so I know that, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but you and I discussed this, and I want to make good on it. Anyone that's watching this right now, if you want to reach out to us, we are going to give you $200 off either one of our golden ticket items. If you want to customize it, let's have that conversation. I'm super easy to reach. Trevor at hgafundraising.com. Dean is going to send out a newsletter with that same offer for his clients. Okay. If you're good with that, Dean, I think you already discussed that.
Absolutely.
So like I said, I'm not putting words in your mouth, brother, but I know we mention it. And I just, it's if that gets you over the hump, so to speak, to have the conversation with your committee, and just consider this great opportunity. Or, as we mentioned previously, Dean is super easy to find, My Benefit Auctioneer. You can schedule time with him to talk about the golden ticket or anything fundraising. You can also schedule time just by going to hgafundraising.com, our free coaching button. You can meet with Jason, myself. You can tell we're very passionate. Dean, myself, our whole the collective we are very, very passionate about fundraising and these topics. So please feel free to reach out to us. Yeah.
And I want to say, even if you're working with another auctioneer,
let's talk. Yeah.
Please. I know almost most of the great benefit auctioneers in America. So, and we're all friends. We all promote each other and support each other. Yeah. If you want to run this by me or you need some info, and then you can talk to them, or I'm happy to bridge in without charging or anything. I just want to make sure you're raising money.
I think that's the most important piece, man. It's such a great way to end it. And I can't thank everybody. Thanks for making this a special one. It's our first one. I can already sense there's something in the water. I think we're going to do it again, man. So
do it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now while I still have this jacket on.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for getting in costume for everybody today. Hey, we'll be in touch, brother. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, everybody. Please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Talk anything fundraising under the sun, golden ticket, or anything otherwise.